Starting with 1 million luck points. Chapter 21. Silence. A deep voice sounded from Commander Zhao's mouth. The powerful Grandmasters immediately fell silent. Commander Zhao was not only a high-level Grandmaster, but he was also a war prodigy that ruled over the Huadong city. His strength was built on the corpses of countless foreign race experts. There wasn't anyone who didn't submit to him. Little Chu, continue. Commander Zhao's voice was calm. Battalion Commander Chu hurriedly told him about Zhou Hao's search for the Scarlet Bloodvine and the Rhino Horn in the wilderness areas 178 and 192. Commander Zhao nodded and looked at the other Grandmasters. Let's go. We have to see for ourselves how strong this new Grandmaster is. As he spoke, he took the lead and soared into the sky. Swoosh. 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 The other Grandmasters followed closely behind. He Biao looked at the nervous Battalion Commander Chu and laughed. Battalion Commander Chu, you've never experienced something like this, have you? Battalion Commander Chu patted his chest. I, old Chu, have never seen so many Grandmasters in one room. He Biao sighed and said, the Grandmasters of the various factions have basically all arrived. If I had known earlier, I would have paid a huge price to invite that person. Forget it, it's too late to say anything now. I have to tag along. Who knows? I might still have a chance. With that said, the ground under his feet exploded, and his body soared into the sky. He looked at the several streams of light in the sky. Battalion Commander Chu was extremely envious. Only by breaking through to the Grandmaster level could one rely on their armor to fly for a short period of time in the air. The wilderness areas 178 and 192 were not very far from Huadong City. However, for a group of Grandmasters traveling at full speed, they would arrive after only a short while. Boom. 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 When they arrived at the edge of Area 178, the Grandmaster experts, including Commander Zhao, all landed one after another. The powerful aura deterred the surrounding tens of thousands of foreign races. However, at this moment, the group of Grandmasters were staring at the huge corpse in front of them in surprise. It's the single-horned Rhino Tyrant. A high-level demon general whose strength is not inferior to the blue-horned blood wolf. In terms of defense, the single-horned Rhino Tyrant is even stronger than the blue-horned blood wolf. One by one, the Grandmasters circled the single-horned Rhino Tyrant's corpse twice, the surprise on their faces becoming even more intense. Commander Zhao stood rooted to the ground, but there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. He could tell from the single-horned Rhino Tyrant's corpse, that aside from the stolen horn, the rhino did not suffer any other injuries. Clearly, it had been forcefully killed by an expert with a terrifying strength. To be able to do this, this expert's strength must have reached the high-level Grandmaster level. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the other party to kill a high-level demon general with his strength alone, let alone a single-horned Rhino Tyrant that was not inferior to a demon king in terms of defense. This rhino was killed in less than 10 minutes and died in the same way as the blue-horned blood wolf. It should be the newly advanced Grandmaster who killed it? Looks like Battalion Commander Chu wasn't lying to us. The Grandmasters were excited. This confirmed the other party's strength. Commander Zhao also smiled. If he could rope in a Grandmaster level expert of the same strength as him, it would undoubtedly be extremely beneficial to the Huadong city. Let's continue. We will speed up and travel to Area 192. Since the other party had already killed the single-horned Rhino Tyrant, he must have obtained the Rhino Horn. Thus, the Grandmasters won't be able to find him if they stay in this area. Boom. Boom. Soon, Commander Zhao and the Grandmasters disappeared one after another. In Wilderness Area 192. This was the Red Swamp Forest, where the scarlet bloodvines grew. Zhou Hao rushed over from Area 178 and entered the swamp forest. As he searched for the scarlet bloodvine, He opened the Heaven Dao software and looked at the bottom right corner of the virtual screen. Luck points, 57,200, current level, overwhelming luck. Should I open a box now? Zhou Hao frowned slightly, feeling hesitant. He had accumulated a lot of luck points now and really wanted to open the mystery box again. After all, the last time he had opened it had brought him a huge change. However, with more than 50,000 luck points, even though the classification was overwhelming luck, it still could not compare to a 1 million luck points. Boom! Suddenly, an iron-toothed alligator more than 10 meters long rushed out of the swamp at lightning speed. It opened its bloody mouth and pounced towards Zhou Hao. Without even looking, Zhou Hao casually punched it to death. Luck points, 60,200, current level, overwhelming luck. It increased his luck points by 3,000. This iron-toothed alligator's strength was about that of a demon general. To accumulate 1 million luck points, I have to kill more than 10 demon kings and nearly 100 high-level demon generals. Zhou Hao remembered that in class, his teacher had said that the higher the level of a demon beast, the more intelligent it would be, and the more sensitive it would be to experts. Moreover, the top experts of the demon race would often sense the powerful demon beasts in their territory. Once the numbers decreased too quickly, it would definitely attract their attention. Thinking of this, he looked at the luck points and gritted his teeth. He opened the merchant shop and went to the mystery box page. This time, he immediately charged 1 million yuan. After exchanging Heaven Dao coins, he got 10,000 Heaven Dao coins, which meant that he could open 1,000 mystery boxes. Zhou Hao did not immediately spend his luck points. Instead, he opened 10 consecutive boxes. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining a rose from the mystery box. Ding! Congratulations, rose. 10 consecutive boxes had cost him 10,000 yuan, and all he obtained was 12 roses and 10 Heaven Dao coins. Sigh, looks like without luck points, the boxes I open are basically trash. Sighing, he couldn't help but shake his head. All of a sudden, he felt grateful for his luck points. Otherwise, his outcome would be the same as most other users. Glancing at his luck points, he decisively chose to spend it. Swoosh! More than 60,000 luck points were spent directly. Zhou Hao stared at the mystery box and then opened 10 more consecutive boxes. He wanted to see what he would get for the 10 consecutive boxes with his overwhelming luck classification. 100 Heaven Dao coins, or 10,000 yuan, was instantly subtracted from his account. There was no time for Zhou Hao to feel bad about losing the money. The mystery box spun quickly and then opened with a bang. Zhou Hao stared fixedly. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining a rose from the mystery box. Ding! Congratulations, rose. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining a rare-level medicinal pill from the mystery box. Top-grade blood explosion pill. Ding! Congratulations on opening the mystery box and obtaining a rare-level weapon, the black tortoise said. Right then. Congratulations to the user, I am just an ordinary person, for opening a rare-level medicinal pill in a mystery box. Congratulations to the user, I am just an ordinary person, for opening a rare-level weapon in a mystery box. Chapter 22. Eastern area of the Red Swamp Forest. After finding the crimson blood vine, Zhou Hao was about to leave when the surrounding water began to fluctuate violently. Following that, a shocking roar was heard. 300 to 400 meters long, a giant alligator covered in thorns rushed out of the water like a small island. Its cold and indifferent eyes instantly locked onto Zhou Hao's location. In fact, it was already aware of Zhou Hao's presence after the other iron-toothed alligators were attacked. However, because he had only killed some demon generals, the iron-toothed dragon alligator did not care much. But it did not expect that more than 10 human grandmasters would arrive outside the forest. Alarmed by their presence, it woke up immediately. You want to surround me? Humph, I'll eat your human junior first. With this thought in mind, the iron-toothed dragon alligator rushed towards Zhou Hao. The iron-toothed dragon alligator crossed 1,000 meters and arrived in front of Zhou Hao. Its bloody mouth opened wide, forming a gap that was taller than a 3-story building. Zhou Hao stood rooted to the ground. Iron-toothed dragon alligator thought that Zhou Hao must have been scared silly. Lowly ant. Disdain flashed in the iron-toothed dragon alligator's cold eyes. If it was any other time, it wouldn't have bothered eating such a martial artist. Just as its bloody mouth was about to drown Zhou Hao moved. He raised his fist, his blood essence surging. A faint ancient dragon elephant figure appeared behind him. It let out deafening roars. Boom! His fist smashed into the king-level demon beast's bloody mouth. An incomparably terrifying force surged out. It swept out in all directions. The surrounding airwaves formed a mushroom cloud that spread out crazily. Layers of huge ripples vortexes spread out from the water under his feet, sweeping in all directions at an extremely fast speed. Fear instantly appeared in the iron-toothed dragon alligator's cold eyes. It felt like it wasn't devouring a martial artist, but an ancient dragon elephant that was even more terrifying than itself. Bang! However, it was already too late to stop. The iron-toothed dragon alligator felt a terrifying pressure that instantly spread throughout its entire body. Many of its organs and bones were directly turned to dust. What kind of existence have I provoked? As this thought appeared in its mind, it slowly closed its cold eyes. Boom! The 300-meter-long iron-toothed alligator fell heavily. Zhou Hao heaved a sigh of relief when he saw this. He was still rather nervous when facing a king-level demon beast. Thus, he even used 80% of his strength. In the end, the iron-toothed alligator died just as he expected. I didn't expect even a king-level demon beast to be so weak. Shaking his head, he sighed and put the iron-toothed dragon alligator's corpse into his spatial bag. With the black tortoise set, it was indeed very convenient to collect demon beast materials. 10,000 meters away. Waves of powerful airwaves surged towards them. The vortex ripples formed a 3-meter-tall wave also followed closely behind. The expressions of Commander Zhao and the group of Grandmasters changed drastically. What a powerful aura! I wonder how the battle is going. It must have been intense. They looked at each other and took a deep breath before increasing their speed. If it was an open area 10,000 meters away, the masters would arrive in the blink of an eye. However, this was the red swamp forest. The terrain was complicated and the water couldn't be trusted. Therefore, Commander Zhao and the others took nearly 10 seconds to arrive at the source of the battle. Where is he? Where's the iron-toothed dragon alligator? After arriving, they realized that both the iron-toothed dragon alligator and the newly advanced Grandmaster were gone, leaving behind only traces of the battlefield. Everyone, look around, Commander Zhao shouted. The other Grandmasters nodded one after another, either diving into the water or following the trail of destruction. All of them searched anxiously, but they still found nothing. At this moment, He Biao activated the armor detector device. Under normal circumstances, Grandmasters rarely activated the detector. Usually, they relied on their senses to find the demon beasts. Commander Zhao, there's no heat signature at all. Seeing Commander Zhao look over, He Biao shook his head. Commander Zhao, I found the remains of a set of standard armor. A Grandmaster picked up the remains of an armor and quickly rushed over. The other Grandmasters who had been unable to find anything also returned. Upon seeing the remains of the armor, their expressions turned ugly. Commander Zhao said in a deep voice, "This is only standard armor. Its defense is too low. The attack pressure emitted by the iron-toothed dragon alligator alone is able to tear it apart. It doesn't mean anything. Could they have perished together?" A Grandmaster guessed. Even so, it's impossible for there to be no corpses. Another Grand Master shook his head. Commander Zhao swept his gaze over the battlefield traces and suddenly smiled. If there's no corpses, there's only one possibility. Swoosh. 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 The other Grand Masters all looked over. Chapter 23. What possibility? He Biao couldn't help but ask. It's very simple. That new Grand Master killed the iron-toothed dragon alligator and then put its corpse away, Commander Zhao said slowly. As soon as he said this, the Grand Master's eyes widened. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. This is too ridiculous. The iron-toothed dragon alligator is a king-level demon beast. Its defense is incomparably powerful. Commander Zhao, even someone as strong as you is only able to injure it with a full-strength attack. That's right. We heard the roar and rushed here. The entire process only took about 30 seconds. Commander Zhao, even you can't kill the iron-toothed dragon alligator in such a short period of time, right? All of them spoke fiercely. They were all Grand Masters and knew very well how difficult it was to deal with a king-level demon beast. If it could be killed so easily, humans would have long taken back the land they had lost. Commander Zhao said indifferently, a high-level Grand Master isn't able to do it, but what if he's a peak-level Grand Master? Upon hearing this, the dozens of Grand Masters were stunned. Peak-level Grand Master. They had indeed not thought about it. The reason was that it was extremely difficult to reach the peak of the Grand Master level. With sufficient resources and endowment, it was possible for Grand Masters to break through and arrive at the high level of the Grand Master level, but not the peak level. Without great perseverance and great patience, it was simply an impossible feat. Although a high-level Grand Master only seemed to be a level away from a peak-level Grand Master, the difference between the two was actually huge. Peak-level Grand Masters had attained perfection in all aspects of their bodies and had broken through the limits of humans. Seeing that no one said a word, Commander Zhao continued, the blue-horned blood wolf, the single-horned rhino, and the other demon general corpses we saw before were all killed by this expert's terrifying strength. If not for his extreme confidence in his strength, this expert would not have used his fist as a weapon. At this point, he paused for a moment, and smiled. The iron-toothed dragon alligator's corpse is more than 300 meters long. Only a peak-level Grand Master would have such spatial equipment. The other Grand Masters had now understood. Right. Even the armor worn by a Grand Master had a very small spatial space that could barely fit a high-level demon general's corpse. If that expert really took away the iron-toothed dragon alligator's corpse, it meant that he had spatial equipment with a larger capacity. Commander Zhao's analysis seems to be spot on. That's right. I didn't expect this Grand Master to have reached peak level. It must be some lord who happened to be visiting Huadong City. That's right. There are very few peak-level Grand Masters. Every single one of them with the potential to reach this level has long been roped in by the various large factions, and they are all recorded on a list. The Grand Masters discussed. At the same time, they sighed. Most peak-level Grand Masters had factions and did not work alone. They would definitely not be able to rope in such an expert. In other words, he had made a wasted trip. Let's go back. The dozens of Grand Masters shook their heads and returned to the city. Only He Biao stayed behind. After all the Grand Masters left, he walked to Commander Zhao's side and asked, Commander Zhao, is it possible for a newly advanced master to directly reach peak level? Commander Zhao was stunned for a moment before glaring at He Biao. President He, what do you mean? He Biao hesitated for a moment. Commander Zhao, I'll be honest with you. I personally met this peak-level Grand Master before. At that time, although he was wearing standard armor and his helmet and mask were not exposed, I could still feel from him the aura of an ordinary person. Commander Zhao frowned. It's very normal. The peak-level Grand Master is perfected in all aspects. His aura can be restrained. I know, but this peak-level Grandmaster used my battle saber to cut the blue horn off the blue-horn blood wolf's forehead. Even when it came to the single-horned rhino tyrant, he pulled the horn out forcefully. He Biao said softly. Commander Zhao's pupils constricted when he heard that. He Biao's voice continued. Usually, only newbies deal with materials like this. If this peak-level Grandmaster was from another faction, it would be impossible for him to not have a weapon on him. Similarly, he wouldn't be handling materials in this way. Commander Zhao's breathing quickened and even became hurried. President He, it's impossible for a newly advanced Grandmaster to reach peak level. However, among the experts of the previous generations, there have been some who reached peak level right after breaking through to the Grandmaster level. As soon as he finished speaking, their gazes intertwined, filled with passion. They both knew that even if a peak-level Grandmaster deliberately hid his strength and kept a low profile, his usual habits would still remain mostly the same. Especially when it came to handling demon beast materials. It was something that was basically impossible to disguise. Chapter 24. Zhou Hao naturally did not know that a group of Grandmasters was searching for him. After killing the iron-toothed dragon alligator, he directly left the Red Swamp Forest. However, he did not return to the defensive line of the southern station. Instead, he turned to the eastern defense line of the east station. Boom! At full speed, Zhou Hao was even faster than the fighter jet. The standard armor on his body had shattered, but the black tortoise set had turned into a set of red armor. In just dozens of minutes, he rushed all the way to the east station's defense line gate. Violent airflow swept up. A terrifying blood essence pressure spread out. However, Zhou Hao still kept it controlled to a certain extent. The fully armed soldiers at the defensive line of the base held their guns vigilantly. When they saw that it was a human figure, their expressions relaxed. Then, they saluted Zhou Hao and said, "Welcome home." Zhou Hao bowed respectfully. "Thank you for your hard work, everyone." With that said, he walked towards the heavy metal door of the base city. The soldiers on both sides looked at Zhou Hao in admiration. To dare to wander alone in the wilderness, his strength had to be at least at the master level. After entering the three main gates of the defensive line and seeing the brightly lit skyscrapers in the distance, Zhou Hao heaved a sigh of relief and a relaxed smile appeared on his face. Although his combat strength was formidable, he was constantly tense in the wilderness. Only when they reached the city could he completely relax. Time to go home. Thinking of his gains from entering the wilderness this time, he felt very happy. Whether it was the rare level items obtained from opening the mystery box or the materials obtained from killing demon beasts, he had gained a lot. With a light tap of his toes, he disappeared from his original spot like a gust of wind. Not long after, two figures landed at the entrance of the east station. They were Commander Zhao and He Biao, two Grandmasters. They had circled the southern station, the western station, and the northern station respectively, but they had not received any news of the Grandmaster's return. This is the final stop. If there's still nothing, He Biao sighed, losing confidence in his previous judgment. Commander Zhao ignored He Biao and instead asked the guard, "Did you see a lone martial artist return?" Chapter 25. The soldier hurriedly replied, "Yes. About 5 minutes ago, a lone martial artist in red armor entered the city from our station." Commander Zhao and He Biao's eyes lit up. He Biao hurriedly described Zhou Hao's approximate height and size. The soldier nodded repeatedly. "That sounds about right." Commander Zhao and He Biao immediately laughed out loud. "As long as we can confirm that the other party is in the city, it'll be easy to find him." Commander Zhao smiled. He Biao nodded and said, "That's right. Furthermore, that Grandmaster took the corpse of the iron-toothed dragon alligator. He'll have to sell the materials eventually, right?" Commander Zhao was in a good mood. "President He, your martial artist union is good at finding information. If there's any news, remember to inform me. Definitely. Yang Garden Residence, Suite 21. When Zhou Hao returned, it was already 8:30 p.m. Usually, at this time, his parents would have already taken the subway back. On a special day like today, it was likely they had already returned to move into their new residence. But when Zhou Hao entered his new home, he noticed that the living room and bedroom were all empty. After taking a bath and changing into a clean set of clothes, he took out the scarlet bloodvine and the rhino horn and placed them by the bed in the bedroom. His parents had not returned. They must have been working overtime. After all, they couldn't get off work early when they were under such pressure. I'll sell some materials and then convince my parents to quit. They've struggled for half their lives. It's about time for them to enjoy themselves. The reason why Zhou Hao worked hard and entered the wilderness area was mainly to reduce the pressure on his parents. He browsed on his phone for a while and only heard sounds outside at 10 p.m. Soon, Zhou Suiwo and Wang Shiyun dragged their tired bodies to the living room. "Dad, Mom, you're back so late." Zhou Hao walked out of the bedroom. Zhou Suiwo threw his coat on the sofa and smiled. "The company has added quite a few orders recently. We had to work overtime." Wang Shiyun said, "Honey, I'll go take a shower first." "You can shower later." Zhou Suiwo nodded and said, "All right, I'll watch television." Seeing this, Zhou Hao took advantage of his mother's absence and pulled Zhou Suiwo to the bedroom. "Son, what's the matter? Can't we talk in the living room?" Zhou Suiwo asked curiously. However, Zhou Hao said, "Dad, I know what's going on." Zhou Suiwo did not react for a moment. "What do you mean you know?" "About your work," Zhou Hao whispered. Zhou Suiwo's expression changed, and he sighed. "Xiao Hao, don't blame your mother for this. Don't worry, I'll resolve it well. You can focus on studying and training in school." Zhou Hao did not reply. Instead, he turned around and took the scarlet bloodvine and the rhino horn from beside the bed.